All right, welcome back to another Mr. Robot Monday. Let me make sure everything is working correctly. Got a new audio interface here, so I'm just kind of testing it out, playing around with it, making sure that everything is working as expected. I didn't have much time to, test it out earlier, so I'm just kind of testing it out right now. So bear with me. So bear with me. All right, it seems to be working just fine. So bear with me. All right, it seems to be working just fine. All right, it seems to be working just fine. Cool. All right, so everything is working. Wait. Cool. All right, so everything is working. Getting a little bit of feedback here. 1 second. Let me actually mute my mic. Getting a little bit of feedback here. 1 second. Let me actually mute my mic. Getting a little bit of feedback here. 1 second. Let me actually mute my mic. Getting a little bit of feedback here. 1 second. Let me actually mute my mic. Getting a little bit of feedback here. 1 second. Let me actually mute my mic. Okay, let me try this. All right, seems to be working. Cool. We are good to go then. All right, so welcome back for another Mr. Robot Monday. Today, I'm not even sharing my screen. Let me present. Share screen. And then entire screen. All right, so I got Kali Linux already pulled up. I'll need to connect to the Hack the Box VPN. So I'll go to the desktop. I will do sudo open VPN. This one. Type in our password. Let's grab that IP address. So we got 10.10.16.21 is going to be our IP. Perfect. Let's go ahead and pick a machine. So I'll actually drag this over here. We need a random number generator to pick one. So let me go ahead and do that. Number generator. So we use this. We'll do, I don't know, through 100, I guess. 92. I'm not going to count all those. I'm just going to kind of go from the back. That's too much to count. I wish it would list like how many are on each page. So I guess we'll go, what is this, Shocker? We can do Shocker. It's an easy one. It's a Linux box, and it looks good to me. So we'll go ahead and spawn it. We'll do adventure mode, because we don't need to do the guided mode. All right, let's see. So we need to do nmap, scan for those ports. Actually, I can close the number generator and pull that back up. Wait till we get an IP address. Any day now would be great. It's going to take it a little while to boot up, I guess. Let me just get situated here. So hopefully the audio is going to be a little bit better this time. We got the Rode Streamer X going. I need to get a 4K camera for it because the one I have right now is just 1080p. But once we get that, I'll have the studio set up downstairs. They actually finally finished the downstairs area, so hopefully I'll have better quality setup here soon. Still got to learn the ins and outs of the audio interface here, but it's pretty slick so far. We had the Rodecaster Pro 2, and that thing just shit the bed, man. Like, it just doesn't work anymore. It gives an error message that it's not getting enough power supply. I tried replacing the power supply. That didn't work. Apparently, it's been an ongoing thing. Had it occurred when it was in the 1-year window of the warranty, I could have replaced it for another one and gotten it for free. But I haven't used it in a very long time, so that warranty has gone away. So basically have a $700-800 paperweight sitting on the desk now. So, but decided to give Rode another chance since we do have the Rode mics and everything else that came along with it. So we tried out this Streamer X. We're gonna see how this does. Come on, boot already. Well, once this thing's excuse me, once this thing gives us an IP address, I'll be able to start this. Didn't have much time to prep today with getting all this stuff sorted, but I always pick a random one anyway, so it's on the fly. So this is part of the hurry up and wait, I guess. So yeah, once we get that IP address, we'll just run a Nmap scan. I'm going to do the output of TAC-O and then nmap.txt just to save all of the output into that file so that I can use it for a little script that I wrote that spits out another command for us so that we can fine tune exactly what we're looking for. There we go. Finally got that IP address. So 10.10.10.56. So we won't need this for the time being. Go ahead and paste that IP address in. Make sure the syntax is right. And let it scan. We'll see what kind of ports are open. So we got port 80 and port 2222. So I'll run that little Nmap script that I wrote. It just spits it out in a way that you can just copy and paste the next command rather than having to type in, especially if you have like a long list of ports. It gets annoying trying to type all of that in. So I just wrote a little simple script, outputs it like that. Just simple. But it's going to run that version scan and the scripts as well from Nmap. So we can see exactly what's running on those services. And while that's running, I'll go ahead. Oh, that was quick. All right. Let's see. So site doesn't have a title, so it looks like this is just a basic Apache website here. And then 2222 has port, is running SSH on it. So yeah, we'll check out this web server here. What was that? So 10.10.10. What was it? 56. Don't bug me. Okay. Let me check out this page source here. Whole lot of nothing on there. So I'm going to run a derb scan. And we'll brute force the directories that this thing might have. Actually, let me check out robots.txt first. Because this looks like a basic one. No, surprisingly enough. That's interesting. All right. So we'll run derb. We'll use that same word list there, but let's replace this with 10, 10, 10, 56, and this is HTTP. HTTP, not HTTPS. So there is no secure socket there. We'll let that run and see what it finds us. In the meantime, let me see if there's any known vulnerabilities for this specific version of Apache. We'll check out the exploit database there. Might help if I type in exploit. Seriously lagging. There we go. 2418. Nope, nope, nope. All right. So doesn't look like they have anything. I'm not seeing anything there. We'll check out our scan. Actually, I'm going to run Nikto as well. It's been a while since I've used this. I need to know the syntax for it. I believe it's just -u. Oh, no, it's a -URL. No. Okay, so I think it's just, let me see, HTTP 10, 10, 10, 56. Nope. Okay, so it is -URL, like it says there. It's been a while since I've used this tool. It's kind of cool. Like it does a lot of directory fuzzing, like kind of brute forcing for you with its own word list. It'll also tell you some like random vulnerabilities that it might find and like where to actually go to see what type of vulnerability it is. Yeah, it's a decent tool. A lot of the information it'll give you, like generally speaking, it's not going to be some vulnerability that will have some kind of exploit that'll work. Like the anti-clickjacking X-frame options, you're not going to be able to do much with this. But feel free to read into it though. Like if you're ever using this, you might actually learn some stuff from it, but it may not be useful for what you're doing. Oh, somebody commented. So, how long have you been using HTB for? Probably 4 or 5 years now. Off and on though. Like I don't really do this every day. I actually just recently started back, not too long ago. Studied for OSCP a while back. Ended up getting that, and then I was stuck in cert after cert doing SANS courses. Have quite a bit there, and then decided to go back to this now that I'm done with school, done with all those certs and everything. I still want to keep this, kind of fresh in my mind, so that's why I started doing the live stream stuff again. Helps me to learn, helps me to really learn, especially when I'm explaining things. And if anybody else can kind of gain something from it too, I figured, why not? So, but yeah, all in all, I'd say probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, maybe even longer than that. I'm thinking closer to 7 years I've been doing it, but like I said, it wasn't like consistent. It's been off and on. I also do a lot of offset CTFs too, whenever I get the chance to do those. All right, looks like we're not finding much here. Whoops, did not mean to do that. We'll let that finish. Also, if I'm not finding anything on here, I'm gonna look for maybe subdomains. let's just take a peek in here too. There's not really much in there. Yeah, that's what I thought. There's just nothing in there. And this is the unfortunate reality sometimes. Just have to wait on scans to get done. Uh, Doing this real world with like pen testing and whatnot, it can take a very long time, but you'll find other things to kind of do, other things to kind of try at the same time. But if this is your main focus, there's not much we can really do past this point, right? We just got to wait it out. Mm-mm-mm. I may even have to use another word list there, just depending. Like sometimes longer word lists, I mean, they're going to have more words on it, you know? So, like I said, it's part of the unfortunate reality of hacking is like a lot of the times it's a long, drawn out waiting process for tools to complete whatever task it is. Real world, sometimes you'll use your own word list and stuff, and you just won't get anything after sitting there for hours. It's just one of those things, you know. I'm actually let me try a different tool. Uh, so there's Derb and then there's Derbuster. Derbuster has a GUI. Sometimes I like using it, sometimes not so much. It just depends. It'll kind of slow down everything sometimes. But you can also go a lot faster with the word list sometimes, depending. So we'll try this. So HTTP, what was it? 10.10.10.56. That was port 80. We'll go ahead and do the go faster. So let's go ahead and pick. I'm gonna pick the medium word list there that we had. So we'll go into user, share, do word lists. Derbuster, I'm gonna do the medium here. We'll go ahead and start that. Okay, so yeah, I must have typed in something wrong for Derb, because there's already stuff popping up here. Not sure what was going on there, because this should have came up. Like all of this right here should have come up. So we have a folder for icon, CGI bin, icon small. Oh, that's why. It's because I didn't have it set to it. It should have been set to. Dear God, I'm drawing a blank. The response code. So the response code should have been set to include all. Instead, right now it's only including 200, right? So that's why nothing was showing up here. But this one's including things like 403, stuff like that. So that is why. Sometimes, I mean, you use other tools, you'll find out more information than what you were finding before. All part of the process. So we'll just let that run. It also does this recursively, right? So if it does find a directory in there, it's going to go through that directory and kind of run the same things again, just to see if there's any other directories within it, any other kind of files within it. So we'll let that just run there for a moment and see what we can find with it. I'm going to see if it'll let us access, even though it had the 400 error. What was that, CGI bin? Uh-oh, didn't mean to do that. Dear God, I can't type today, man. See if it'll give us access. Nope, forbidden. Okay. But just because a certain directory is forbidden doesn't mean that directories within that are forbidden. So that's why we let the scan run. And that's why we like to do it recursively as well. Oh, man. Yeah, it's taking forever. Yeah, if you're viewing in, you can let me know if you have any questions on anything. I can certainly take questions and stuff while these things are running, but if not, completely fine. Thanks for being here anyway. I'm actually kind of wondering if we should dive a little bit deeper into the CGI bin. So there is a known vulnerability and exploit for web servers with this CGI bin folder. It's called Shellshock. If you're not familiar with it, go ahead and take a look at it. I'm actually going to see if we can download something to test for the Shellshock vulnerability. But I also know that sometimes they do keep certain files and stuff and whatnot within this CGI bin folder. So let's pull up. Let's go ahead and Google for Shellshock vulnerability. Still can't type today. I'm exhausted, man. It's been a long weekend. Today, I did not want to go back to work either. There we go, Shellshock. Exploit GitHub. We'll search for that. Let me go ahead and put a pause on that so we're not draining all the resources from this VM. I just need to go ahead and allocate some more RAM to it. As you see here, that's the usage up there. All right, sorry, just reading over this. So we'll need to see how exactly does this one specifically run. So we don't know what kind of vulnerable files might be in there. So we'll need to know of a vulnerable file within there. So my thought is, why don't we see if there's like CGI extensions or something in there. Let's go back. Stop that. Go back. And I'm actually going to use the short word list for this because I don't want this draining a lot of the resources, taking more time than it should. If this is the avenue, not entirely sure yet. We'll see. Word list. Dirbuster. We'll use that small word list for this. And so we can do, we'll do file extension txt, see if there's like a text file in there or whatnot. We'll do CGI. We'll do, what else can we do? We'll do py, see if there's any Python scripts in there. We'll do sh, see if there's any like bash scripts in there that might run. We can do PL. We just do like all of the different languages and stuff. We'll just start with that. So we'll see if there's anything within that directory that might be useful to us to see if that shell shock vulnerability is a thing. If not, you know, it is what it is. We'll just see what other kind of avenues we can think of. Okay, there's a user.sh. What is this? Little bash script. Oh. Okay, it's actually letting us look at it. Let me actually open that with mousepad here. Actually, let me go ahead and pause this real quick because this seems to be draining my RAM. There we go. I'll come back to that if I need to, but this, I'm interested in this. So we'll open this with mousepad. Content type, text plain, just an uptime test script. So if that shell shock vulnerability is with this, we might be able to add something to this bash script here. So we know it's a bash script because obviously it ends in .sh, and it seems that it says just an uptime test script. So I have a feeling that this thing is constantly being run by whoever the user is. So if we're able to actually edit this file, we can probably insert a reverse shell into it to try and gain it that way. Let me see. I know that Metasploit actually. Well, does Metasploit have it? Let me see. Metasploit might have a module for this. So we'll open up a terminal there. We'll test that. So yeah, nothing was really found in that. I'm surprised though. Like I'm surprised if this is the avenue for that. I'm surprised that it didn't pick it up in there because I've actually had this tell me like, hey, this This site here is vulnerable to the shell shock vulnerability, but at the same time, the CGI bin folder was open, so we were able to see what was in there. So if I were to include that folder, it's not going to see anything in there because we actually had to directory brute force that to find that file, right? So let's open up MSF console. There we go. We'll boot up Metasploit. I'm just going to search for a module in there for the shell shock vulnerability. I don't recall offhand if it does have one or not, but we'll find out. And so we'll just search shell shock. Okay, what do we got? Let me try that again. There we go. A little bit easier to read that way. Let me try number 1. Let me look at 1. Okay. Well, since we do have that file there, if this is vulnerable, let me see. Let me see if we can do this real quick too. We'll just test it out real quick. Don't need that one. Let me. So we'll just hit it with a curl command. And this is port 80, and this was user.sh. Just want to see. Was it 10.10.10.56, right? So it does work. That's perfect. Okay, so yeah, it is a shell shock vulnerability then. So it looks like we have a user Shelly on there, and root. Cool. Yeah, so we were able to cat the Etsy passwords. So actually, what I'm gonna do is pull up one of my favorite sites here, the reverse shell generator. And so we'll type in our IP address. We'll add 21, port 4444. And I'll pick this one. See if this reverse shell will work for us. If you're not familiar with revshells.com, awesome tool. You just type in your IP address, your port number, and then you can pick from the many different reverse shell options in different languages and whatnot. Really awesome tool. You can do the reverse shells, you can do bind shells, spit them out in MSF Venom and Hoax shell. You can also just copy and paste your listener command there if you want to, but really great tool. Highly recommend using it, especially for things like OSCP, capture the flag, whatnot. It just makes it a lot easier. You can have these in your notes too, but it really just makes it easier because your IP address is already included in it, as well as the port number. So what I'm going to do is we will... Actually, let me just open up a new one. There we go. Let me get that curl command. We will cut that. And since we have remote code execution, since I was able to cat that Etsy password file, I'm going to try the remote code execution for this, the reverse shell, and try and call back to myself here. So we'll set up a netcat listener on port 4444. And let's see if this works. Let me copy this. Yeah, that's all right. Okay. Oh shit. Cool. So we got a reverse shell there. So who am I? Shelly. So it looks like Shelly is the one that constantly runs that command then. So we'll print working directory. Okay, so we are in the CGI bin. Let's go to home directory. We got Shelly there. Let's go ahead and grab that user flag. So we'll cat user.txt and put that flag in. Where is... There we go. Paste that in, make sure it's correct. Boom, user flag owned. So I don't think that was terribly difficult. I want to say it was very easy. It was just very time consuming. There was a couple avenues that we had to try, right? Like tried the directory fuzzing. It was only the first scan that we did was only looking at the 200 response code from the server. It wasn't including the 400 response codes, so we tried a different tool, and that was actually feeding out the 403, you know, the forbidden response codes for us, so that we knew that something was actually there. From there, we looked in the CGI bin file or folder, excuse me, directory, to make sure that or to see, you know, if it was going to be vulnerable to that shell shock vulnerability, which it was. We actually had to look for other files in there to kind of use for that to make sure that it was vulnerable. And ended up running a command that we found on this GitHub page. So we exploited it with a one-liner. Tried this first. It spit out the Etsy password file for us, and then tried it with a reverse shell. Boom, we are in. So from here, what are we going to do? Let me pull up notes real quick from Notion. And I'm going to see if I can't strengthen that shell. So if this is your first time viewing this, Notion, really awesome tool to use as well for all of your hacking notes. While I was doing OSCP, I took all of my notes in here, OSWP. Majority of my labs and whatnot, I recorded everything that I was doing, put it all in there. But I also made a ton of notes so that I can remember certain commands for tools. You can do screenshots and everything in here. You can type everything with whatever kind of language you want. Really awesome tool. You can also share it with people too. So I'm actually sharing with one of my friends so that he can study for OSCP. Though he's not using my OSCP notes, that wouldn't be allowed. He's only using what I have here, which are certain commands for some of the certain tools. Again, though, Notion.so, highly recommend using it. Yeah, really awesome tool. So I'm actually going to do a stability command for this shell here. There we go. So Shelly at Shocker. Cool. All right. So what else do we have here? What was it? Selected editor. What is selected editor? Is that a directory? No, it is not. So nano cache. So let me cat this selected editor here. Bin nano. That's weird. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do actually is I am going to set up a Python simple server. Actually, I need to change directory into the downloads page or downloads directory. And here, as you can see, I have linpeas.sh. So linpeas is just a really cool tool used for privilege escalation and kind of finding those avenues. It's really one of the first steps I take besides typing in sudo -l, but we don't have a password, so I don't think that's going to work, but I'll try it. Oh, okay. Oh, so we can run Perl commands as root or using sudo. So maybe I don't need to do that. Actually, what I'm going to look up is GTFO bins. And let's type in Perl, and we'll do sudo. And we'll see if we can just run this. That might be one of the easiest ones I've done. Let's see. Oh, hold on. I need to type in the absolute path there. So that is sudo /user bin Perl. And let's see if we can get root from this. My God, we just hacked, what, 46 minutes? That's funny. Oh, that's hilarious. I'll still show you guys linps though, because that's what I was going to use next, or before that. Yeah, generally, if I don't have the password, I kind of save this, this command here, so sudo -l, I kind of save that. If I don't have a password, because a lot of times it'll ask for a password. But in this case, it didn't. It just told us, hey, this is what you can run without using a password. So that was awesome. Let me go ahead and get that flag real quick, though. So we'll cd over to root and then cat that root.txt. Go ahead and own this CTF here. Where is the... There it is. Go ahead and paste that in there. Submit. We own this one. Very cool. All right. Actually, let me open that up a little bit. That was a piece of cake. That was probably one of the easier ones I've ever done. So we'll go ahead. Actually, did I submit that? Yeah. There we go. Cool. I don't know who would have wrote that as a medium, because that was very, very simple. Unless they just got stuck on that directory brute forcing, or they weren't aware of the shell shock vulnerability. Anytime I see that CGI bin, that's kind of like my first thought. Yeah. Anyway, that was like stupid easy. All right, cool. So yeah, let me show you what I was gonna do. I was gonna use that linps.sh. So I'll go ahead and set up that Python simple server. So -m HTTP server, we'll do port 8000. And then I'll use wget here, HTTP. Our IP address is 10.10.16.21. And what was it, port 8000. And then /linps.sh. I may not need to run this as root, but whatever. chmods, we'll change that to an executable, linps.sh, and then we'll go ahead and run it. So yeah, really cool tool. Yeah, you're already root. I know that. So normally you wouldn't need to run this as root. Well, hi, how's it going? Thanks for joining. But yeah, normally you wouldn't have to run this as root. Obviously, there's no need to, right? Because we already have it, and this is for privilege escalation. But just showing you what I would have done had that sudo -l not worked. This script is really, really awesome. Anything that shows up in this red and yellow is 99%, a privilege escalation vector. And anything in red you might want to take a look at, because you might be able to leverage whatever is there to essentially get root. Yeah, I mean, I try to be chill, but sometimes I get frustrated at these, but it's all a learning experience, right? Kind of doing this for myself so that I can learn a little bit more at a time, still keep the stuff fresh in my mind. Because I don't necessarily do this for work. I mean, I am in the cybersecurity field, but I don't really do a lot of this stuff every single day. But What what's the wildest ideas you have that can happen in real life? As far as what? Like what kind of context? Like for hacking or what? Oh right. But yeah, like I was saying, with WinPeas, they also have another version for Windows. It's called WinPeas, and then they have one for Active Directory specifically. Like it can change the world. Yeah, I don't know, man. That you kind of put me on the spot there. I'm not really sure. What about you? What kind of ideas do you have? What exactly is my job? Yeah, so I actually work for a company. I'm not going to mention the name, but they do essentially EDR or managed detection and response. So yeah, I work for a company that does that. But this stuff has always fascinated me. Got many certs in this. I have a lot of friends that do this for a living. Uh, anyway, I just find it really interesting. Maybe one day I'll kind of pivot into that as a job, but for right now, I'm kind of happy where I'm at. I just kind of do this for fun, fun and learning, I guess. But all right, cool. Well, that was like I said, probably one of the easier ones I've ever even seen. I don't know why that was so easy, but hopefully the next time, next Monday, it'll be a little bit more challenging. This didn't even take a full hour. Most of the time, I'm on here for like 2 plus. Might start doing some of the medium and hard ones on there, but I just don't want to take it, 16 hours at just not finding something. But anyway, if this is your first time joining, definitely subscribe, like, share. Let's see what some tool which can basically brute force every hash, like I don't know, like 2 billion. Whoa, wow, yeah, that's insane. Like I wouldn't even know where to start to make a tool like that. But that would be really cool. That it definitely would change everything if somebody could make something like that. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, so I am here every Monday, 5 Eastern time, doing the live streams unless something crazy comes up. Gonna continue doing this as well as making other videos. Check out the website savagehack.com. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being interactive. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next Monday if you come back.